Hello guys, welcome to this channel. In this lesson, we are going to review how to write equations of parallel lines and equations of perpendicular lines. Alright, so we are going to read each question and then go ahead and write the equations to them. So write an equation parallel to the line y equal to 3 over 4 x plus 5 passing through the point 4, 1. So let's go ahead and underline parallel lines first. So parallel. So what does it mean for lines to be parallel? If two lines are parallel, one, they're they're on the same plane. We're going to see this in geometry. They're called coplanar, meaning that they are on the same plane and they have same slope. They do not intersect. They do not intersect. Okay, so coplanar means they lie on the same plane and they do not intersect. Okay, so that's what parallel lines are. So if I want to write the equation of one line that's parallel to another, then they should have same slope or equal slopes. So same slope or equal slope. So the only difference that we would notice is the difference in their y-intercepts. For example, y equal to 2x plus 4 and y equal to 2x are going to be parallel to each other because they have the same slope and have but then here they have different y-intercepts, which is 0 and 4, so they're different. All right, so if we understand this, we're going to go ahead and use the information we have to write the equation of a line which is parallel to this given equation. All right, so we want the two equations to have the same slope but different y-intercepts. All right, so let's go. So we're going to write y equal to mx plus b. And this is the general slope intercept form of the equation of a line, okay? All right, so now what we can do here is we know now that the slope of this equation that we need to write must also be 3 over 4. So I'm going to write y equal to 3 over 4x, then just write b. I'll just be a little patient. Now it is time to use this point P here, a point 4, comma 1. So we're going to plug in x, okay? We're going to plug in 4 for x, and we're going to plug in 1 for y, because this is 4, comma 1. So these are points. Okay, these are the coordinates for a particular point given on the line. So we're going to take this 4 and plug that in for x, and take 1 and plug that in for y. So that's going to be 1 equal to 3 over 4 times 4, okay, plus b. All right, so if we do this math, then this is going to be 1 equal to 3 times 4 will be 12, and then we're going to divide all of that by 4, and that's going to be equal to oh, and we have plus b. All right, so but we know this is going to be equal to 3, right? So which means we have 1 equal to 3 plus b, and we need to subtract 3 from both sides and cross this out. We have negative 2 equal to b. So this means that this is going to be your y-intercept. This is the y-intercept. It's going to be the y-intercept for the equation that you're going to write. So I am now going to write that equation over here. I know that that equation will have the same slope as the given equation right here, which is going to be 3 over 4x. Then instead of writing plus 5, I'm going to replace this plus 5 with negative 2. So that's going to be negative 2 because that's the y-intercept. So meaning that the equation will simplify to 3/4 x minus 2. Because positive and negative combined will be negative. So that's why I have minus 2 here. So we are done with this problem. Let's go ahead and look at how you can write the equation perpendicular to the same line right here. So for two lines to be perpendicular, they have to be in opposite directions. Okay, so the way we compare their slopes is different from the way we compare the slopes of parallel lines. So it happens that if two lines are perpendicular, their slopes are opposite reciprocals, or some people would say negative reciprocals. Okay, so let's put negative reciprocals, or some people would say opposite reciprocals. Negative. So let me write it correctly. Negative reciprocals and opposite reciprocals. That's what we need to write. So I didn't get the spelling right. So I'm going to write it down again. We call that negative reciprocals. Okay, or some people call that opposite reciprocals. And now I'll explain what I mean. All right, so we know that, for example, if I have 2, the reciprocal of 2 is 1 over 2. If I have negative 2, the reciprocal of that is negative 1 over 2. But when we say opposite reciprocal, it means if I have 2, the opposite reciprocal will be negative 1 over 2. If I have negative 2, the opposite reciprocal will be positive 1 over 2. If I have 2 over 3, the opposite reciprocal will be, I flip this first, it will be 3 over 2, then with a negative sign. If I have negative 4 over 5, for example, the opposite reciprocal will be positive 5 over 4. So I'm changing the sign at the same time I'm flipping the fraction. So this is how you write opposite reciprocals, and this is very important in writing the slopes of perpendicular lines. All right, so this is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to erase these explanations and go ahead and solve the problem. You can always rewind the video to see these details again if they're not clear. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So for example, this problem here has y equal to 3 over 4x plus 5. And the point given is 3, 2. And notice that when you say lines are perpendicular to each other, it means that they intersect at 90 degrees. So they intersect and make the angle 90 degrees. This is one example. Another example is a line going diagonally, and then you have another one also crossing that out diagonally, and you're still making 90 degrees, okay? But to use numbers, we use opposite reciprocals to show that two lines are perpendicular. Okay, all right. So meaning that if this line here, the equation of this line is positive, then the equation of this other line here will be the opposite, which will be negative. So this is what we are doing. All right. So I'm going to take all of this away again, and we can go ahead and solve the problem with numbers. All right, so let's go. So here, the slope given to me here is 3 over 4. So I'm going to write the opposite reciprocal now. Some people call that opposite reciprocal, or I'm going to write what's negative reciprocal. I want you to be used to the right vocabulary. Negative reciprocal. What is the negative reciprocal of 3/4? It will be negative 4/3. So this is the slope that we're going to need to write the new equation. So I'm going to go ahead and write y equal to mx plus b, and I'm quickly going to replace m by that number. Okay, that means y is going to be equal to negative 4 over 3x plus b. Again, we're given the point 3, 2. So since we have x, y as the coordinate, so we're going to plug this x in, okay? And now 3 is going to go for x. That means that 2 is going to go for y. So 2 is going to go for y here. So this is what we're going to need to do. All right, so if we make the substitutions, so it means we're going to have, let me use blue color to uh, do this right. 2 equal to negative 4 over 3. And x now is going to take 3 plus b. Now this example is very easy. It's a little easy because we're having numbers that divide into each other nicely. I just wanted you to see what's going on. So 2 equal to negative 4 times 3 is going to be negative 12. We're going to divide all of that by 3 and plus b. Now, negative 12 divided by 3 will be negative 4. So that means you're having 2 equals negative 4 plus b. And if we add 4 to both sides of this equation, you add 4 to the left and add 4 to the right, this is going to give you 6 is equal to b. So that means the y-intercept of this new equation that we're about to write will be 6. So now that equation will be now y equal to negative 4 over 3. Realize that we are using the what opposite reciprocal to the slope right here. X, then we got positive 6 for the intercept right here. So we're going to bring this positive 6 over and plug that in here, plus 6. And this is how you can write an equation which is perpendicular to the line y equal to 3 over 4x plus 5 and passing through the point 3, 2. So we're going to need this skill in the future. I want you all to come here and review all of these things. Get ready for geometry. Thank you very much. I hope you can subscribe and like this video, and you can also share with your friends.